Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, to be pleased to support the performance of important trusts in this county. Let your blessings set upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county, and of those whose interests you committed to our church. Clerk, kindly take us to the order of the day.
The third assembly, fourth session, special sitting number 2 of Gazette Notice number 9456 for order paper number 326 for today, 14th July 2025 at 9:00 a.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable Millicent, can you take your seat? Honorable members, I rise to bring to your attention a matter of significant importance concerning today's special sitting. As you may recall, during the sitting of Thursday, 3rd July 2025, I did communicate that you may be called for a special sitting. Although the House adjourned for recess on 3rd July 2025, as per order number 27.1 and 4 of the standing orders, I read that whenever during session of a county assembly stands adjourned, whether or not a day has been appointed for the next sitting, the speaker may, on the request of the leader of majority party or the leader of the minority party, appoint a day for a special sitting of a county assembly. The speaker shall notice in the Gazette, notify the members of the place, date, time appointed for the special sitting of the county assembly. Honorable members, pursuant to these provisions, the county assembly, by Gazette notice number 9456 dated Friday, 11th July 2025, notified members and the general public that today, Monday, 14th July 2025, had been appointed as a day for a special sitting in the assembly, scheduled to commence at 9 a.m. The primary purpose of this special sitting, as you had been earlier informed, is to consider the extension of the Kisumu County Education Fund for a period of 1 year ending July 2026. So I communicate. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion on the approval of extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund by the Honorable Sethukumu.
Honorable Sethukumu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. Allow me to move a motion for the extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund, a very important social protection fund under the Department of Education. Honorable members, aware that the Kisumu County Education Fund, herein after referred to as the fund, was duly established in Section 3 of the Kisumu County Education Fund Act 2014 with the primary objective of providing funds to be used for granting bursaries and assist residents to pursue education and such a recognized institution. Honorable members, further aware that the Regulation 197(1) Roman 1 of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulation 2015, Legal Notice 35 of 2015, stipulates that the initial approval for the establishment of a county public fund shall be for a minimum period of 10 years, beyond which period the express approval of the County Executive Committee and the County Assembly are mandatorily required for the continued existence and operation. Remember, noting with concern that the initial 10-year period of approval of the Kisumu County Education Fund, as prescribed by the aforementioned Regulation 197 Part 1 Roman 1, has now expired, thereby occasioning the necessity for formal and legally compliant reaffirmation and extension of the operational mandate of this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, recognizing the formal request submitted by the County Executive Committee to this Honorable House on 25th June 2025, seeking an extension of the operational life of the fund for a further period of 1 year, which request underscores the indispensable and continued role of the fund in advancing additional equity and opportunity across Kisumu County. Honorable members, appreciating the cessation of the fund's operation consequent upon the expiry of the initial approval period would inevitably result in severe and detrimental impacts upon ongoing educational support initiatives and the legitimate expectation of the numerous deserving beneficiaries within the county. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, cognizant of the constitutional principles of public finance, including openness, accountability, and the prudent and responsible use of public money, as enshrined in Article 201 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and further elaborated in the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and its subsidiary legislation, now therefore be it resolved and prayed that this Honorable House resolves 1. To authorize, pursuant to and strict compliance with Regulation 197 Roman 1, Part 1 Roman 1 of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulation 2015, the extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Educational Fund, established under the Kisumu County Education Funds Act 2014 for further period of 1 year, commencing on the date of the adoption of this motion and ending on the 14th of July 2026. And 2, to direct the County Executive Committee member responsible for education, in conjunction with the County Executive Committee member responsible for finance, to undertake all necessary administrative, financial, and legal measures to ensure the seamless and effective continuity of the fund's operation during the extended period. 3, to further direct that the County Executive Committee to, within 6 months of the adoption of this motion, present to the Honorable House a comprehensive proposals for long-term legislative framework or amendments to the Kisumu County Education Fund Act 2014 designed to provide for the sustainable and perpetual operations of the fund, thereby making it obvious the need for recurrent short-term extensions and ensuring greater legal certainty and stability. And lastly, to mandate the County Executive Committee member responsible for finance to provide quarterly reports to this Honorable House on the financial and operational performance of the Kisumu County Education Fund during the extended period, demonstrating adherence to the principle of prudent financial management and achievement of the fund's objective. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable James Omolo to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion as ably put by my chair, Honorable Seth Okumu. Mr. Speaker, it is high time we do this so that our children who are in high school and college can get these funds in time. And Mr. Speaker, giving it a life for 1 year would ensure that there is seamless transition so that we do another motion or act by then. We had passed the budget recently, and I think there are funds we appropriated for the same. And if this is done at this time, it will allow the expenditure with the same for the purposes intended. Mr. Speaker, this fund is very, very key to our people, and everyone is looking towards us to do the necessary. And I think I beg this House that we go that way and make it operational. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, now that the motion approval of extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund has been moved and seconded, as per our standing orders, I want to propose that the motion is open for debate. Yes, sir, Honorable Adega.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to echo the motion before the House. I fully support the motion to extend the bursary fund, as it will provide essential financial assistance to students in need, helping them to continue their education without unnecessary hardship, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you see, the CDF has already disbursed their bursary funds, and the county is still dragging back for the same, and most of the students are at home. They were sent back because of the same. I support the motion for the extension. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Pamela.
I also stand to support the motion. Many children are still at home, especially those children that were given scholarship. Many of them have been returned home. Because of this act, I know the money will be sent to those schools. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support.
Honorable Were.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to support the motion. Mr. Speaker, there is need for an extension. Mr. Speaker, we have got several reasons for the extension. One is for the continuity of support to the beneficiaries. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that we gave out forms for the needy and bright students who wanted to benefit from this fund way back in December. And up to now, Mr. Speaker, if we extend this, it will be able to make them benefit directly. Mr. Speaker, delayed disbursement and utilization. If we extend this law to enable this process to take place, we will ensure that there is timely disbursement of this fund. Mr. Speaker, there's also need for an alignment with the budget cycle. Mr. Speaker, we recently passed the budget and included the fund. And if we extend this, then that will be able. Mr. Speaker, as we do this, we also need to make raft of recommendations, Mr. Speaker, because we know this happened because somebody slept on his job. We must also pinpoint this. As we extend on the legislation, then somebody also needs to take responsibility so that it doesn't happen again. It is the sole responsibility of the CCM education to ensure that there is legal compliance. He has to check that all the legal provision of all the funds that we have under his department is updated, and assembly is also put on the know-how. Mr. Speaker, after this, then that needs to be pointed out so that he knows that this is happening because he slept on his job. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Minister Ndamuya.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, I'm also rising to add my voice in supporting the motion. First, it is really going to help us because as we speak, in our community, we don't even have a face. Why are we not having a face? The forms were done in December. It's almost a year. In fact, when a voter tells you that you've denied me bursary, it's difficult to deny because for sure we've denied them a full year after vetting and doing a list and submitting. We've been really embarrassed. I'm happy that finally we are going to extend the lifespan of this policy so that we pay the bursary. Last time when we were going through our budget, part of our money was taken somewhere that till today we've not been explained to. I'm still requesting to know, now that we have 300 plus something, are there possibilities of getting that 100 that went somewhere that we don't know? Because we also need that 100 million. And apart from that, I would wish that we work with timelines. Now that we are passing this motion, when the chair will be responding, I would like to hear from him. When is the county going to disburse the bursary? So that we don't go back to our people and start explaining things that we don't know. Respond and tell me, I want to leave this place going to SEM. In fact, after this, I'm going back home. And I should be in a position of telling my people that you are getting your bursaries from tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday. Thank you. I support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to speak on this day where we have a special sitting arising from the gazettement with the intention for us to extend the operation or mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund. Mr. Speaker, I'll borrow from what Honorable Were has just said, that the CCM or the AG, the county attorney, will always be in a position to look at some of the funds created within the county and even give out notice of some of the funds that are almost reaching their expiry time, Mr. Speaker. If this was done on time, Mr. Speaker, then by now something will have been done in this honorable assembly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll not deviate from our colleagues because the issue of bursary is so dear to many of the people we represent, and majority, being that this was second term, were actually looking for that money so that their children could go to school. And you realize that at the end of the day, something so small that could have been acted upon is now delaying the process. And for that reason, we really want to let the person in charge to wake up, and especially the county attorney. Let him wake up and look at some of the acts that we have passed in this assembly, some that are approaching expiry, especially the fund accounts, so that he can advise the county well. If that was done on time, Mr. Speaker, then by today, no member will sit in this house discussing such a motion. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, I know it was a legal requirement that the voice of the representative of this assembly to be heard and to be presented before the COB so that the money could be released by the COB. I want to voice my opinion on the same, that as a member of this assembly, it is so timely. Our people are really waiting for this bursary fund. We have talked to many schools. We have written letters to schools, to all students not to go back home. And we expect money to be paid anytime as early as today or tomorrow. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion, and I'm asking other members, we support the motion so that by the end of the day, this the approved motion is acted upon so that our children, the people we represent, can get money so that they go to school. I support the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to stand and support the motion. The extension of the Education Fund that was enacted in this assembly in 2014. 2014, 10 years from now, is expiry was supposed to be 2024. And we are discussing this extension in 2025 July. And it is an emergency. We are discussing it as an emergency, something that just came out of the blues. Yet 10 years down the line or expired last year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's very embarrassing that this county has an office that is supposed to be looking at the expiry of certain acts and certain laws. Yet it takes up the work of the assembly to keep reminding them that the 10 years has expired. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, other counties extended the life of the Education Fund last year when they expired with the support from the attorney's office. And Mr. Speaker, I would call it intentional delay of the extension, because we knew very well by the time we were passing the budget last year, June, that we had allocated money for bursaries. Yet at the same time, we were allocating money knowing very well that the extension was needed. These things should have been done last year. So I call it was intentional, so that our children would not benefit from the bursaries. So that it expires, then we give an excuse that, okay, you didn't get bursaries because the life of the Education Fund expired. Mr. Speaker, we must speak from where we are seated, that as members representing different wards, when we go to the wards, every single voter is blaming the member of the county assembly. That how come other counties have given bursaries? How come the CDF bursary is given on time? Mr. Speaker, as much as we're extending the life of this education fund, we must not just sit here to pass the budget. Then the bursary is given at the month of September. That is a bursary for this bursary should have been given in January. Some of us gave, of course, the forms were out in December 2024, with the hope that by February, by March, the students were going to benefit from the bursary. Sometimes you give the bursary in the month of September or of October, when some students are finishing Form 4. It has not served any purpose. Mr. Speaker, this bursary is supposed to support parents and students from underprivileged backgrounds. But when you decide to give bursary at the end of the year when they're finishing Form 4, Mr. Speaker, I can see the Honorable Seth pointing at me, but allow me just to go beyond because of emotions coming from the bursary.
that as much as we are discussing the extension of the life of the education fund, I have to be emotional because as we speak, Mr. Speaker, every single place we step, we are being called that we've eaten the bursary money, yet the problem is the extension, which is intentional. Mr. Speaker, I support the extension of the fund, but let it be extended that the bursaries will be given as soon as possible, not next year. Thank you.
Ken huko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me stand here to support the motion brought before the House. And thank you for inviting members through the Gazette News to extend the mandate of the bursary fund. Mr. Speaker, we have to accept where we have missed so that now we can see how to move forward. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that according to the Act, it is stipulated that it has to take 10 years. Mr. Speaker, truly, if we have officers concerned, like that Office of the Attorney General, and we have the CC for Education, who is in charge of this department, we should not have reached this kind of situation. We should send a wake-up call to our officers who are serving the county so that they do things according to what is expected. Mr. Speaker, education really is where people acquire knowledge and skills. And these are places where people's character are being nurtured. It is a very important department so far, not only to Kisumu County, but to the whole world. It is unfortunate that we can be called now to do our legislative work on something which should have been given a notice in advance. We are disappointed, Mr. Speaker. But given the importance of this kind of fund, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we extend the lifespan of this fund. But we have to note some few facts. It has to be practical. When we extend this, many a times we have had the education fund brought here by the Office of the Auditor General. And we have had adverse opinion throughout. That shows there is mismanagement of this fund. I think as a committee of education where I belong, we need to act on some issues. We need to change the management of this fund so that we see the delivery of services as required by the Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support. Thank you.
The Deputy Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Boyton, I have noticed you are coming immediately after the Honorable Deputy Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the extension of this act with a very heavy heart. Mr. Speaker, if we are serious with our oversight responsibility, this ought not to have happened. The fact that there is an executive which ought to have done this, it is also our duty to have noticed that there is an expiry. Just recently, we passed an appropriation bill, which ought also to have reminded us that as we pass this appropriation bill, when is that money going to be dispersed? That is when we ought to have noticed that there is an expiry. Chairman and committee members, our duty is not to defend the executive, but to work together to ensure that we achieve our goal. More often than not, I've noticed in this house that when a particular committee is put to task, others take it like we are fighting that committee, but we are just correcting, or we want it to be
seen that it is doing the right thing. Mr. Speaker, this is not the only extension or the only act that has expired. I'm sure there are a lot of them, but there is a danger. If there is a law in this house, will tell you that whenever a contract or a lease has expired and is extended even by 1 day, Mr. Speaker, that makes the extension legal. In this house, we know that just the other year, 2 years ago, we were given support staff in our wards. Some of them are expired. We have not brought that to the house so that it's renewed. You be assured that those that have expired, they are automatically extended. I hope that there's nobody going to cry in this house that, oh, I want my staff to be exchanged or changed. Mr. Speaker, this thing, I support it. The rope has been put around my neck and I'm over the stool.
Information, Mr. Speaker. It is now talking about everything expiring, and I'm worried. It doesn't even have facts talk about support staff and the expiry. Mr. Speaker, I want him to substantiate, and if he realizes that he has erroneously said that word, let him apologize and talk about the motion before the House, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, it is very early in the morning. I've just taken tea. Whatever I say here, I mean it. And I mean what I didn't say every. I said some. And I'm very particular talking about the support staff. The contract was 2 years.
Don't confirm, Mr. Speaker. Is irrelevant, and I'm sure maybe his support staff were given 2 years, and I think you need to tell them to bring back the letter so that we correct for him. It was 3 years, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I want to maybe protect Honorable Mumba. He said some, but Honorable Mumba, I want you to confine yourself to the debate. Otherwise, we are going to take a lot of time asking you to substantiate who those some are.
Which, Mr. Speaker, I'm very ready to substantiate. I have a staff in my ward and I know one is expiring next month. Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, what is lacking in this house, sometimes we might have made a mistake, but it's not forever, Mr. Speaker. We have the impeachment provision, but it is not a must that whenever an executive has said we must impeach. No, we have to take some corrective measures. And that is what is lacking. Someone has made a mistake, but what is there to ensure that that is not repeated is more important than even impeachment. This is a very serious matter, Mr. Speaker, that we ought to come up with a way forward so that going forward, we don't get this kind of embarrassment. Another thing, Mr. Speaker, now we are talking about the extension. After the extension, Mr. Speaker, it will take, again, a lot of time for the money to reach the school. Some will even reach school in 2026. There's a lot of bottlenecks and encumbrances in disbursement of this fund that we need to come up with a clear mechanism that if the money is disbursed, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, the money is sent to the school so that we don't get these bombardment we get from our supporters. Mr. Speaker, everything that happens, it is us that suffer the backlog or whatever that is happening at the executive. Mr. Speaker, I support the extension. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Wait on. Whose phone is ringing? I think we put our phones on silent mode. That will be appropriate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Before I give my comment, Mr. Speaker, I want to mention something here very critical that may be forced to go through the throat of my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, it is known that the bursaries that are given and the scholarship that are given to our students is the sole mandate of the county government through the Department of Education, not the mandate of an MCA. But again, Mr. Speaker, within the public domain, it is known or it has been perceived that it's the MCA who issues bursaries. And we've been riding on this, or for political gains. To some extent, it's allowed, but it is not right, Honorable Speaker. Now, Honorable Speaker, we are talking about extension of the fund's life that expired in 2024, as was provided in Section 3 of 2014, which provided these funds. But again, Honorable Speaker, the PFM Act gave a period of 10 years. The lifespan of the fund expired in 2024. What is the question now? In between 2024 and 2025 July, what have we been doing? This is the question, Honorable Speaker. What have we been doing? Because I believe that the department, I believe that the committee concerned should have known that the lifespan of this fund is expired. Did we have to wait that we go on recess and put Speaker in a precarious situation to call for special sitting to extend the life of this fund? Honorable Speaker, if this House will continue working like this, then we are going to find ourselves in a very bad situation. We are requesting for an extension of 1 year, which I know the House will approve. But then in between tomorrow until the time this fund expires again, the life of this fund expires again, after that 1 year period, what are we going to do as an assembly? Somebody may not be interested in these funds being distributed to our learners. But as an assembly, if our interest is so much vested on this, we must put them to task and make sure that these funds continue being in place, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are talking about openness and prudent use of public funds. It is in the lips of every member that the money that were appropriated in the last budget was 205 million. But what are we getting now? That we have 105. If that is the case, though this may be a story for another day, if that is the case, Honorable Speaker, this assembly should put to task the Department of Education for misappropriation of 100 million shillings, which was not passed or approved in this House. Honorable Speaker, I am now open to some other committees to look at the acts that are within their mandate and see if at all there is imminent expiry of any bring forth so that the assembly amends those kind of particular acts so that we don't find ourselves again in such kind of situation. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, we know that some counties had issued bursaries as early as January. It is in the public domain that there are some counties that had already issued bursaries in the month of January and February or so. And here we are, Kisumu County, discussing bursary in the month of July. Mr. Speaker, moving forward, I pray that we become as an assembly proactive so that we carry out our mandates as members of the county assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support the extension of the funds, education funds. Thank you.
Honorable Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to rise on supporting the motion which is brought forward. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to appreciate the effort you made for us to come back from recess. However, it looked like a bother to some of us, but we really wanted to have this motion because we know where the shoes pinch most. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed true that we are the people who feel the pinch as far as the bursary disbursement is concerned. Mr. Speaker, you know, most of the executive or the CEC members, even if they stay around or walk around in our wards or among the communities we come from, people don't even know them. Some people don't even know whether they are the people mandated to execute some of the policies we pass here. But, Mr. Speaker, we are chased almost everywhere, asked questions regarding the bursary wherever we go in any gathering. So, Mr. Speaker, we are right to discuss this. Mr. Speaker, allow me to ask or allow me to put this forward. It is just the other day, Mr. Speaker, when we went to Nairobi and we wanted to meet the head of state. That is before we went to the State House. And I remember we shouted loudly, asking the COB why we could not be allowed to give out bursary. Little did I know that our bursary, the education fund had expired. When I read this I just said, then what were we doing? Why were we asking the COB to give us, to allow us to disburse the bursary? And we could not do it because our education fund had expired. So, Mr. Speaker, this is something which we should ask. And this goes direct to the chair of Education Committee and tell us why we could be seen shouting while our education fund had expired. Mr. Speaker, we also want to make this clear. And I remember we discussed this in one of the motions which we passed, that our bursaries should be considered and should be dispersed in the first quarter, latest the second quarter of every financial year, so that our students who are benefiting from the bursary kitty could have these funds as early as possible. I don't know how the motion, because I believe the motion is going to be passed. I don't know how fast this thing is going to be tracked so that our students, who some of them are back home, would be getting their funds and continue with their education. And Mr. Speaker, I beg to hear from the chair of the committee concerned to help us know the timeline and when the students are going to get their bursary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Honorable Benny Pete, Oiko.
Mr. Speaker, the Education Act of 2014 is now the matter for discussion, that it should be given more life so that our children benefit from bursary fund. Very crucial, very important. But Mr. Speaker, one asks, when this fund act expired, who ought to have known this? Is passed at the assembly. Was the assembly ignorant of this? It is being implemented by the executive. Was the executive in darkness? And honorable members note this. 2024-2025 budget, the bursary fund was allocated 205 million, which means this money was to be distributed to our children in secondary schools and colleges. When the supplementary came up here, what happened? 100 million was chopped off from 205 million. Who knew this? Who did not know this? The Education Committee, were they aware? The Budget Committee, were they aware of what was happening? Some mischief was being played. And who was playing it? And was it intentional? Or someone felt the act had died, they could now play about with the bursary fund. And members note this. This is what His Excellency the President of Kenya said when there were discussions on this fund. The children of Kenya started benefiting from bursary long time ago. And no individual should come up to stop them from benefiting from this fund. This is their money. So let Kisumu County now know the position. When Professor Nyong'o came to power, bursary was there. And it was being issued through checks, which was very efficient despite some teething problems, which could easily be addressed. The Minister of Finance brought up the digital system of paying the bursary. This system of the current Minister of Finance has brought hell to the children of Kisumu County. And here are the members of the Assembly. What action have you taken? Nothing. It is with that breath that he knew the bursary should assist our children, and he decided to chop off 100 million from the bursary fund. Where did he take that money? Let us go to the supplementary budget and find out. This 100 million that was chopped off from the bursary fund, it was taken to which voted. And when this was being done, was education committee members aware? The budget committee, what did they discuss on this? And when the supplementary budget was being passed here, who realized that? Everyone were busy. Supplementary is to be passed within 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's in that language you are being told here. When such an important document is coming here, Mr. Speaker, like when the budget was 2025-2026 budget was being brought to this assembly, it was put on the wall saa 3 ya usiku. And when were people supposed to discuss it? 9 a.m. So when you put it at that time and people are coming at 9 a.m., what time do members have to discuss? That is how you are being managed in this assembly. So wake up. Don't just see a document pass for the sake of it. Interrogate the document. If it is brought late, raise that alarm. And then we shall be relevant. Honorable members, this government is not keen on the interests of our children. When January starts, when children are going to school, the scholarship matter, they are given letters to go report with. No check, no money. Bursary is being paid towards the end of the financial year or early the next financial year. Why have all this been happening? That is why we are faced with this problem. There's someone who matters in this government who does not bother about the bursary. He does not know how this bursary is important to the members of Kisumu County because of the position he has been given. The time for payment of scholarship and bursary speaks volume on the attitude of the Waziri Minister for Finance. And let that be on the record that I have said. And there's record to that effect. I also talked about what are members of the public saying. The members of the public are blaming us as their representatives. Because in this country, there are only two people they know, the governor and the MCAs. And when an executive member is bringing problem, it is us to raise that. And if we have assumed that is how things go haywire. Honorable Speaker, the chair Pick Park has raised a matter here, which is very crucial. And those shows why bursary, management of bursary in Kisumu County is a problem. The audit report is saying it's always adverse. And when that adverse report comes here, what is the contribution of the members? Nothing. What report goes back to the executive? Nothing. We simply pass. And when Oiko says here, makes comment that we don't want a sweeping report from Pick and Park, and offense is taken. Today it is good. He has said with his own mouth on the adverse reports from the audit report, Education Act Fund report. And that is why things are now have messed up to this level. Why things have messed up on bursary fund up to this level. It is something that has been cooking. And Mr. Speaker, we have also taken a role which is not ours, that we are the ones who give out bursary to the public. Where do you sign for the check of the bursary? That is the role of the executive. Let us tell the members of the public, it is the executive that has caused this delay. Does the bursary checks come to your office? Do you sign them? Does your manager sign them? The executive. So that they know the mess they have caused in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, when we say the truth to the public and in this house, we shall help this county. And when we just brush things off, that we want to speak our little English here and there to pass, that is why we have reached this level. With the extension of the life of the Education Act, I support. But these matters we are raising here, the chairman education, we know in this house, is a man who feels that bursary is not the role of the county government. The county government should concentrate on building ECD, employing ECD teachers, and vocational, which is good. But the members of the public are used to the bursary, and the bursary is helping the common man, the poor man on the ground. Let no member condemn that. Let no member play with that. Mr. Speaker, we are passing this, and all that we are lamenting about should reach the governor. It gives a very poor picture of Kisumu County. When counties are taking action, it is now that Kisumu is waking up. Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Honorable Lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the extension of the funds act, Mr. Speaker. First of all, Mr. Speaker, currently we are late with the disbursement of the executive is late with the disbursement of the bursaries to our students. And the act which we are now extending, Mr. Speaker, is going to act on a fund which ought to have been given in the 2024-2025 financial year. Even though we are talking of that amount of disbursing to our students too, Mr. Speaker, we find that instead of going to disburse, talking of 205 million, we are just going to talk of 105 million if extended. Because the last financial year, we appropriated 205 and another 100 just disappeared in the budget. We don't know where it went to. So as it's going to be extended, we are going to pass the extension of the fund management, Mr. Speaker, but we are going to just get 105 for this extension for the time being. I think that we just passed the budget recently of 305 to top up the other one. Even though we are extending it, Mr. Speaker, and we are going to be successful, a lot of money is still going to waste, being that in most of the high schools, Mr. Speaker, the Form 4, most of the secondary schools do make the appointment of paying the school fee in the first term and the second term, so that in third term, pupils remain in school for the study, Mr. Speaker. We're still going to lose some money, being that the parents had already cleared the fee for the financial year. And for those who are in Form 4 currently, if you've cleared this fee, know where the money is going to, and that's a waste to the county, Mr. Speaker. So even though we are extending the time for the disbursement, Mr. Speaker, we hope to have made a clear timeline whereby at what particular time should the money be disbursed to our pupil, being that we did the necessaries in January and up to the end of financial year. Now we are chasing for a fund which I hope to have been given in the last financial year, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, as we are extending it, make it being a norm that before we do anything, we at least go and look on the act. And this one hope to be taken place by the CCM of Education, Mr. Speaker, being that he came and asked for the appropriation of such amount, not knowing that the fund has expired. Mr. Speaker, I rise also to say that even given that time, let us work on it so that as we will be given the funds being disbursed on the correct time, and so I submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, going by the mood of the House, may I call the mover to reply?
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you so much, honorable members, for that robust debate. And Honorable Speaker, I've noticed that almost everyone agrees that we need to extend the life of the fund so that we can have bursaries for our students. Honorable Speaker, as much as they agree, they are raising very important issues, and I want to bring it to their attention that the reason why we are doing this is so that we can take this report to the controller of budget to tell them that we have agreed for the extension. But I want you to listen to yourself. If the controller of budget was to read your sentiments, do you think it's going to get convinced that we still need this fund as county government? And sometimes that calls for what I always advocate for, that when you're making a law, please don't get too emotional. When you're too emotional, sometimes you become irrational. And Honorable Speaker, on that note, allow me to say a simple story. You know, if somebody comes and asks for your recommendation when he's going to marry a girl, and then you tell that person, you know, I agree you should marry this girl. Then you start telling that person, no, but she has not gone to school, and her head is big, and there are night runners in their family, and those very bad, but I agree that you should marry this girl. Yes, the person will agree with you that he's going to marry, but is wondering, what were you focusing on when you are talking to him or her? Speaker, let me correct a few things. The Honorable Iko said that the information was sent at 9 p.m. I want to correct you. Actually, the information was sent at 6:53 p.m., given the time frame that we were given. And I know the Honorable Iko is the only one who is allowed to get hard copies. I think that might have been late, but any member who is digital will agree with me that the information was shared at 6:53 p.m. in the evening. Honorable members, bursary is not only for high school and universities. Bursaries can only be given to our vocational training centers, which is a mandate that the county government was given by the 2010 Constitution. And every time I try to explain this to members that as we award bursaries, let's also focus on vocational training centers. And at best, in future, I think we should also give bursaries to our ECDs so that we can have our ECDs improved and our VTCs also improved. So as we give bursaries to high schools and we give bursaries to universities and colleges, please do not forget vocational training center students that we also have in our institutions. Members, the supplementary, I don't want to talk about the supplementary. Honourable members know how many members were present when we were passing the supplementary budget. And I've realized that those who are absent are crying the most. And that's why sometimes I was talking with my brother, the honourable member for Kisumu, Nyalenda A, that we are very good at coming for the Kamkunji. But when it comes to the assembly, I think today we have really tried. If we were really keen when we were passing the supplementary budget, we would have really emphasized on this. But most of us were not there. It is not the education committee who recommended that. It's not the budget committee who recommended what the Honorable Iko was talking about. It's a question that we have raised and we are waiting for answers for the same. We are also surprised as you are. And members of the budget committee will agree with me. And the chair talked about this here over and again. And the vice chair is here. Oh, I wish you listen to him. Again, Honorable Iko, we have not done nothing. We are extending the life of the fund today. That is something that is really major. It's big. Otherwise, we would have refused. And remember, before this matter was sub judice. Given the court proceedings, and I want to give you the exact case. I had it here, Honorable Iko. There was a matter that became that was presented to court by Omusundi and another versus Nakuru County Assembly, and this matter was questioning if county government are supposed to pay bursaries for high schools and universities, and all of us are aware to that. And I think the Council of Governors have been on that case, And it's the agreement. I think the court pronounced its judgment, and it was recommended that we have an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the county governments and the national government. That is what gave lifeline to the bursaries that we are talking about. The whole of the financial year 2024-2025, there was a matter in court that all of us are aware of. I remember on recognizing whether the act, the act has expired. I'm glad that the people of West Nyakach were very, very generous enough to bring back the person who was the sponsor of this motion in 2014, the Honorable James Sumolo. And he is also a member of the Education Committee, and he was there with us when this expired. But, it's not the law that expired, it's the fund that expires after 10 years. And when a fund expires, it is the executive to decide whether we still need the fund or not. And it's provided for that the CCM committees sit in a cabinet, and then they write to the assembly that we want this particular fund extended. They should do that. Those other funds, emergency funds, should they expire, disaster fund, and any fund that we have in a county. So without them doing that, honorable members, it was hard for us to pick it up. And I think the speaker brought it up before them. But I think with the matter being sub judice, they were not keen on extending the life of the act. On 100, misappropriated by the Education Department, Honorable Eko, we cannot misappropriate what is not there. The fund does not exist in the budget. So how do you misappropriate? It was not in the budget. It will be very, very wrong for us to accuse the Department of Education for misappropriating money that was not given to them, honorable members. What are we going to do after the extension? Honorable Boyton was asking, and that tells me that people don't read even the reports that we're having. Honorable Boyton, we have mentioned in this report that 6 months the department should provide for us a legislative framework for extending the life of the bursary. I think that is answered in the same report that you are reading and contributing about. Honorable Lumumba has been talking about defending the executive. Sometimes when we explain things here, as we understand them, as they have been told to us by the department, our system of governance, government here is you are here as the chair of Education Committee, but you are asked things that are being implemented by the department, and you are expected to respond. And when you respond with the explanation that you are given, then you are again seen to be defending the same department. So we are in a catch-22. You are supposed to explain to people what you have been told. At the same time, they also feel that you are defending the executive. So I don't know how we are going to address that, but that's the situation we are in with the system of government we're having at the county government level. On mismanagement of the fund, Honorable Uko, I know we are with you in Pick and Pack Committee, and there have been adverse reports that you've brought several reports in this assembly with recommendations, and I believe we are following up on those recommendations. The biggest question that has been asked by several people is, when is the bursary now going to be paid? This is a matter being asked as the chair and not the implementer. It's an answer that I can only get from the implementers. But I can explain that the controller of budget first needs this extension for them to give money to Kisumu County, for that money to be taken to the bursary account. Honorable members, it will be very hard for me to assume to know how long that will take. But we are committed that it will take the shortest time possible. And that's why the speaker saw it fit to call a special sitting today so that we can get the fund as soon as possible and then send the fund to the department under the account of bursaries so that it can be taken to the schools. That is the situation. That is the situation where we are with the bursary fund. So, honorable members, allow me not to mislead the House by giving an exact time that the bursary can be paid, but allow us, honorable member, the Honorable Chair has just come, but he has found when I'm replying, so he might not have opportunity to contribute. So, honorable members, like I was saying, allow me not to mislead the committee by giving an exact time where the bursary will be paid. But let's all commit that we want to make this shortest time possible by always putting the executive to task on each and every process that they are doing to have this fund come to the county and to be sent to the bursary account and to be released to the schools. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply.
Honorable members, now that the motion approval and extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund have been moved, seconded, and debated, as per our standing order, I want to put a question. And I put that as many of the opinion that the motion approval of extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. And the motion approval of extension of the operational mandate of the Kisumu County Education Fund have been adopted today, Monday, the 14th of July, 2025, at 10:22 hours. And I direct that the said recommendation be communicated to the right department for action. I also want to direct that the committee of implementation follow-ups on the same resolutions or recommendations for action. Next order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable members. The business schedule for transaction, the Gazette Notice 94/56 has been transacted.
You can be standing, honorable members. Honorable members, I want to request that after the session, you remain shortly for some communication. But there being no any other business in the order paper, the House stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 5th of August, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.